The Tangent Egg podcast is aimed at a mature audience. It contains themes that are not appropriate for all listeners. It's important to note that we are not experts. We routinely have no idea what we're talking about and are just three idiots sitting around a table. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Tangent Egg Podcast. I'm Seth, and as always, with me is Swoosh and John Doe.
Hi.
Hello.
This week, we're starting out with some unfortunately sad news with the death of Kevin Conroy, who is the voice actor who has handled the voice for many projects, including some of the best renditions of it in media for Batman.
Yeah.
For those who remember the show, the original Batman the Animated Show was probably his most well-known one, although he has continued to do it for the Arkham games as well.
Animated series was the absolute peak of Batman.
Same.
As a kid watching that, it's like they covered so much shit in that.
Because we had Mark Hamill on that one as the Joker as well.
Yeah, that was Hamill Joker, yeah.
Yeah, they were a great duo for the voice
Two
acting.
masterful fucking performances for fucking voices. It's also where we first got Harley Quinn and so many other things. That is quintessential fucking Batman as we know him today. And
well, if you ever watched, there was a documentary done by Joe DiMaggio, which was I Know That Voice. Great documentary if you want to watch, see how voice actors do their stuff. But he was featured in it for a fair chunk of it. And he was doing charity work a long time back where he was cooking in I think it was a homeless shelter or something similar. Mm-hmm. And when they realized that he was the guy who played Batman, they would just yell things out and he'd respond in the Batman voice. And I'm like, I love that. That's amazing. But,
yeah, I mean, by all reports, he was a delightful person, always had time for his fans at conventions. An absolute stand-up guy. And, whoever has to do Batman after him, good luck.
Oh, yeah.
Because, for me, I grew up watching the Batman animated show.
Yeah.
I still, much like John Doe, consider that the definitive Batman.
Yeah, the current Batman is... I can't remember his name, but he was one of the guys from the Drew Carey show. He was one of the two idiotic friends. And he actually does a surprisingly good Batman. I can never remember his name.
As long as the next Batman doesn't do the Christian Bale, I'm Batman, and then talk fucking flat, but he's fucking...
The one from Harley Quinn show is the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, he's fun.
Yeah. He does a really good Batman.
Actually, I've thoroughly enjoyed that fucking show. That Harley Quinn show is fucking great.
Oh, 100%. I love their entire Bat fam. They are absolutely great. Fucking Batman's a neurotic. Nightwing just wants approval and to be recognized for his own talents. Their Batgirl really doesn't have enough time for this bullshit.
Yeah.
And they went with Damian for the Robin, so it's just yes, this is so good.
It works too well.
Yeah. And it's good not having Batman, the Bat fam, as a fucking focus. Seeing the whole villain lives and trying to figure out thugs and henchmen and shit. That's just fucking gold
their
right
King
there.
Shark is the best.
Oh, he's my favorite version of King Shark. But
fucking just an IT nerd who just casually can eat a corpse if you need him to.
Just you want me to get rid of that?
But I mean, we wouldn't have gotten Harley Quinn's TV show if not for that original animated Batman show.
We wouldn't have had Harley Quinn full stop. She was never meant to be a part of it.
Yeah,
straight out.
She never existed in the comics beforehand. That was her bring in. We needed an offside for the Joker. All right, do it this one. And it worked perfectly.
And actually, the whole, just as meant to be an offshoot character, because she wasn't meant to be a recurring role. She was just meant to be a throw-off character. And actually having, such a great name and, the whole design for that character, Harleen Quinzel, Harley Quinn. Everything about that is just fucking perfect for the future of what we got.
They bothered to give her actual character development in that show. There's that episode where Batman hangs out with Harley all day.
Yeah.
And treats her like a person because, sometimes people have shitty days.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And it's that show was the time when you actually kind of understood why Batman doesn't kill people.
Yeah. They really emphasized that. They showed it really well. They didn't just tell you every time, I don't kill people. It's no, I'm going to sit here and try and help this person. It's I can see why
I may
you
beat
keep
the
taking
piss
it
out of
away
you because you're trying to beat the piss out of me, but I won't kill you. I'll just drag you off to jail, alright? Shit.
Yeah.
But it makes sense in that one because he empathizes with his villains in some degree.
Yeah.
He understands that some of them are because of trauma or something in their past that needs to actually be worked on so that they can grow and become better people.
Or they've just dated the Joker.
Yeah.
That'll throw you around the fucking bend.
Oh, yeah. Unlike a lot of the current iterations where it's like, bad people. I beat up bad people.
Yeah. They just merged Rocky Balboa into Batman. It's like, the new movie did pretty well with showing villains in a different light. Like, I really enjoyed their version of Riddler. Like,
it wasn't bad.
It was pretty fun.
And actually starting it off with Riddler, like, he is a fucking awesome villain, but there's almost always the focus on just the Joker or, like, the Penguin or, like,
the well-known bigger ones.
Two-Face to a slightly lesser degree. You rarely ever get a Freeze or an Ivy or Riddler. So having that, I thought, the first movie of this, whatever this series is going to be, I thought was a great fucking touch for it.
Oh, yeah.
And we just talked a whole bunch about everything we love about Batman just by remembering the...
But he brought so much into it.
So
he did, yeah. Like, he breathed
without him
great
being
life
that voice, we wouldn't have the Batman we have today. In any fucking iteration, we may still have basic fucking comics.
Hell, that Batman in that setting for Gotham, that Gothic deco, is still the definitive design for Gotham.
Yeah. Absolutely,
yeah. It's stuck with it. Modeled a lot of the future Batman stuff to a T. It was great.
Like, because like previously there was like Burton's Batman and that kind of stuff, and it had it to a point, but you didn't really see the city as much. It was still like more
set
Victorian Gothic, whereas this is more like urban Gothic, like flat, clean lines, and you still got your gargoyles and shit.
The way the actual art style they call it is Gothic Deco.
Yeah. Well,
it's supposed to look like that Art Deco style with all the sweeping lines of the buildings.
Yeah.
But topped with all the gargoyles and hanging pieces. It's never. I don't think it's ever been replicated anywhere near that well.
No, but like even like in Brisbane, there's a big fucking skyscraper.
Oh yeah, the Gotham building.
It looks like a fucking building out of Gotham. Like anyone who walks past goes, I've seen that in the movie. I swear that's fucking Gotham. You can see Batman.
We have a Batman. We have Wayne Tower.
I still fucking hate that building is where you pay fucking fines.
Yeah, I know.
It's not even a cool building.
How's got anything fancy in it? Like, it's literally looks like Wayne Tower. It's great.
At the very least, for Riverfire,
it has a giant W on
they
it
should
too,
put a fucking bat signal on top of it. Just put a laser bat signal. Just for shits and fucking giggles. Like, that would just be like a nice little Easter egg. People walk around, that's a bat signal. That's coming from the Gotham Tower. Fuck yeah! Like, that would make every nerd in Brisbane happy. Every nerd in the fucking world happy. They see that building. Oh, that looks like something.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
so
Batman's dead. Long live Batman.
Yeah.
Again, definitive Batman. Like I find it weird anytime I hear a Joker without Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find
an
it
animated
weird.
joke without Mark Hamill is like, it doesn't quite sound like
But
Same
basically,
thing's gonna happen for me now.
Our generation's Batman has passed away.
Yeah.
So
it's very much.
The next person taking up mantle, they have a lot to
You
live
next
up to.
generation, your Batman's shit. Our Batman was good. You're all fucked.
Yeah. Fight us.
No matter what, no matter who it is, our Batman was better. Straight out. Nothing you can say about it.
Definitely.
Good luck to whoever is the next Batman, really. Genuinely hope the best for them, but they got a big fucking ladder to climb.
Yeah. So, moving on, it's been kind of fun watching Twitter burn.
It really has been entertaining to watch that kind of crumble. The whole thing of just like, oh, I'm going to fire all these people. Oh, wait, I needed those people. Fuck. Bring them
Come
back,
please.
Please come back. And so many of them are like, maybe even double my prices, and sure. But most of them have already found work somewhere because they worked for Twitter and were really good at their jobs.
Yeah, well, they were quite talented fucking people. There's a reason they worked for such a large fucking corporation.
Yeah.
Like, they're not the people you tend to throw out on their ass for nothing.
And even then, Swish brought this to us, and I've been digging around trying to find some really solid references to it. I have found other places that have mentioned it, but I will, like, grain of salt here.
Yeah.
I can't find a definitive source on this.
Me neither.
But there is some implication that Twitter's looking to get these people back more for their knowledge than for the person.
Yeah, there was
so once the knowledge base has been transferred,
they'll ditch
they're
them
done again.
Yeah, because they were using a system that I'm familiar with called Slack, which is just a combination thing for developers and that kind of stuff in back end, and basically it works like a wiki for them, and a messaging service. And in that, there's screenshots from one of the head honchos going, think of these guys as they're only here to transition the knowledge out of them, then we'll get rid of them again. It's like, if that is true, that is a dick move.
Absolutely.
That is just horrible, because most of these people have already, either if they haven't found work yet, would be coming back under the impression that, you guys made a mistake, I'm going to get my job back and do well.
You're at least going to try and do right by me after your fuck up. But they're not trying to do right by you. They're just trying to squeeze the last drop out of the lemon before they fuck you off again.
Well, the interesting way is how the post actually put them in. Like, it was very kind of weird. I'll see if I can pull it up.
Like someone's put a screenshot of their phone, like taking a photo of a conversation on their phone.
Yeah.
Like set at a bit of a dicky angle, so like they've tried to sneak it up over their desk and it'll sneaky little snap.
The one for me was the wording for it was in the screenshot that we found. The engineers I am bringing back are weak, lazy, unmotivated, and they may even be against an Elon Twitter. So that's a horrible way to talk about someone you need to bring back because they have knowledge you want.
Yeah, fucking oath.
Like,
but
yeah.
So in another conversation, like someone else has leaked an email for it, saying that they need to make at least half of their revenue of fucking these subscriptions, otherwise they're not going to make any fucking money. But
Elon has been very open that he is more than happy to file for bankruptcy.
Yeah. And like one of the things they let go of was the whole, like, there was a whole Twitter gaming department which actually brought them in some money because they had advertising out there and they actually sponsored some things, so people spent money and came back to. He dropped that entire department, so he just literally just cut off an entire fucking revenue stream that they had. And like since that day, the account still exists. There's just no posts. Like they're completely inactive. Like a lot of what he's cut off is to, like cut off your nose to spite your face. Like,
no. Do you want to know? Okay, so
I'd love to know more about it because I could be dead fucking
Twitter
wrong.
That handled a lot of legal stuff. Essentially making sure they didn't do big blunders. He, of course, terped the whole thing. We don't need it.
Yeah.
So you know how he did all the big firings and stuff? You know in some of the states where he did that, that's illegal?
Yeah.
You have to give terms and a reasonable amount of time, like essentially a 2 weeks notice type thing. And he just turfed them because he didn't have a department to tell him, you can't do that.
Pretty much. So he's like, I can get rid of this.
There was an article in like the Sunday paper, the telly, and she's off on maternity leave. She'd been off on maternity leave for 2 weeks. Like she's just had a little one, and she got an email at 5:30 in the morning saying that your maternity leave will now be cancelled, which you can't fucking do in Australia.
No.
Like, there's a whole fucking heap of things they just cut entire sections without looking at any of the repercussions. So, like, there's potential, like, sure, the company may go under, but there's also a lot of other shit that may get fucking thrown back on him.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
See, this is the thing, like, because this is failing so hard, it's kick on affecting things like Tesla and SpaceX and everything else he owns.
Yeah, because he had to dip into his shares for that to kind of cover it, didn't he?
Well, it's not that. It's just people are selling their stuff off. They don't have faith in Elon.
Yeah.
So they're seeing big dips in Tesla because people are like, oh, he's mismanaging the shit out of that. Oh, maybe Tesla's not as good as we think it is.
Well, a lot of people are also cracking the shit's head because he promised, like, I've got all these stocks. I'm never going to sell them. Like, these things are worth more than fucking gold. I'm never going to sell them. And then I'm never going to sell them. I'm just going to sell a heap of them over here. But I'm never going to sell them. I'm just going to sell a heap more. Like, billions of dollars worth of Tesla stocks that he's never going to sell. He's just fucking throwing out.
Technically, he didn't lie. He hasn't sold them. He's leveraged them for a loan with a bunch of Saudi Arabian princes. That's where
he has actually sold them.
Oh,
he
nice.
has actually
he
sold
actually
them.
got cash back for like was it 4 billion worth of Tesla stocks?
I can't remember what it was. He has actually sold stock, which again has continued to feed fuel on this jump out of Tesla.
Oh yeah.
Although, speaking of billion-dollar losses, there was a great one. Just let me fucking quickly check the company it was.
The bloke who owned one of the Bitcoin exchanges, he lost like several $1 billion because overnight his whole fucking thing collapsed, and then he decided to liquidate everyone's fucking...
what was it, FTX?
Yeah, that one. Liquidate everyone's assets, say, no, these are actually fucking worthless, and then he just sold his company to someone else to get the fucking money back. Like, just burned so many people, and they're fucking worthless.
What a dick.
It's one more thing of, like, why does anyone trust crypto?
Yeah,
oh, fucking
it can't be trusted. It's so volatile.
It's decentralized. It is not fucking trustworthy. Like, there's no central thing holding it together. You can lose everything.
It's not even that. It's just that these exchanges are beholden to no one. It is literally me going, hey, John Doe, hold my money for me and don't spend it.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's no regulatory...
I'm going to charge you interest, and I might go over here and buy myself something, but I won't spend your money. Yeah.
But there's no regulation, there's no guarantees, there's nothing. There's just faith that you won't spend it, and that when I come and go, hey man, can I get my money back? You'll give it to me.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is. This is why decentralizing, and it's not like a bank, except it is like a bank, but with no regulation.
Can I borrow that piece of data? Oh, you're saying it's worth a lot of money. Oh, cool. I've got this bit of data that's worth a lot of money. Oh, now you're saying it's worth nothing. Oh, well, I guess it's worth nothing now. Like, there's fucking nothing backing it.
Yeah.
It's only what they're fucking saying it's worth. Straight out. It's only worth what someone else will fucking pay for it. Until then, it is worth nothing. Same as NFTs. They are worth fucking nothing NFTs. Until you actually get something for it.
Yeah. I mean, like, everyone looks at crypto right now with, like, they'll look at Bitcoin and go, well, Bitcoin's worth, like, $30,000 a coin. One, that's due to scarcity because it's harder to get Bitcoin now. And a lot of it was, I think it was something like 16% of it was lost in locked or inaccessible or deleted wallets. So they've already lost a massive amount of the coin supply. But when it started, it was worth fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And you bought a pizza with like 9,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah. There was a bloke who found over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in an old popcorn tin. And like he could see the balance, but he couldn't withdraw from it because he didn't know the password. So that's all gone. That's fucking... That may as well be nothing. That's just a piece of plastic now.
So really, it's valuable because there's not a lot of it, and it's a tradable commodity. These current coins aren't. The mining boom has happened. People are building entire buildings to mine it. It's a liquid asset. It's not rare.
No.
And then you have these exchanges just being like, well, fuck you, I'm going to go spend all this money. I don't give a shit.
Or you see on, like, Facebook Marketplace and other places, like, I'm selling all these graphics cards. They were never used for mining. It's like, well, straight out, they were used for mining.
They were definitely used for mining.
Well, people are ditching them because of the last spike in ETH.
Yeah.
Because it basically made GPU mining worthless.
Pretty much. Which I find fucking hilarious.
Though, didn't NVIDIA get hacked a little while ago saying, we're going to release a thing to make so you can fucking mine easily on all your cards? And then NVIDIA just changed their code so that doesn't fucking work.
The newest set of NVIDIA cards actually make it harder to mine on them.
Yeah. But
Whereas AMD went, hey, you want a mining card? Have one.
Yeah, they got hacked a little while ago, and they were going to release like the source code of like a lot of their firmware and shit. And so NVIDIA said, all right, we've got a whole new set of firmware, so everything you've got's now obsolete. Good luck.
Yep.
I doubt that, because NVIDIA has been notorious at not giving out its firmware. It's one of the reasons that it's not heavily supported for Linux.
They didn't give it out. Like, they were hacked and the source code from their firmware was taken.
Yeah.
Someone took their
that was like right towards the end of the 30 series of cards. And then when they announced the 40 series of cards, they developed a new set of firmware, so anything they had that would affect the 30s and lower is completely obsolete. So it's like, good luck to you. We're stopping to make those cards anyway, so jog on, bud.
Pretty much.
But speaking of other companies that lost a whole lot of money, there was a group who decided to make a fake account for a company called, what is it?
Lilly. Yeah.
And stated that they would give out insulin for free. This was a fake Twitter account.
Yeah.
You know that drug that so many millions of people fucking need to survive?
Yeah. They paid for that check mark, though. So it was,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, they paid their $8. They got their check mark. But then the real Eli Lilly company had to come out and be like, yeah, we're not giving away life-saving drugs for free.
The greatest thing was the fact that insulin is public domain. The guy who found the formula for it was like, this is a thing that can save lives for diabetics for forever. I'm releasing this to the public with no fee. So it's free for anyone who can have the resources
can synthesize
to make
it. Go for it. Yeah.
And then that's raised the question of all these people going, oh, that's really nice. You're releasing for free. And they've gone, oh, actually, no, we're charging shit tons of money for it. Whereas everyone's now going, why are we charging so much for a thing that is essentially public domain and free if you can make it? And it's like, I can just see this company sweating in the background, and every other company who makes insulin ooh.
Yeah, this is the thing. They're not the only company that took this hit. They're the one who took the direct hit because of the fake Twitter account. But 3 other major manufacturers of insulin also saw massive dips.
Yeah,
because of this conversation resurfacing about insulin.
Yeah, it's shone a very bright light onto this entire bullshittery. It's like, oh look, corruption.
Yeah. Well, because all it would take is one of those companies to say, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to drop this for nothing. And for all those other ones, well, fuck, we now have to drop it for nothing because no one's going to fucking buy it from us. So any share price is going to go, oh, fuck, they're giving away something they're making an arseload of money on for nothing. So, of course, there's going to be a fucking ripple-on effect for it.
Oh, yeah. But, well, the thing is, if one of them did it, they would get 100% of the market within a second. It's they wouldn't make a lot because that's the problem. No, they've been using insulin as a moneymaker for fucking
It's not
years.
the money that you get out of that. It's the goodwill from the public. Saying, this company over here just decided to do it. Fuck yeah, I'm going to tell my doctor, if you're going to give me shit, I want it from those assholes.
Yeah.
Any other company's going to fucking follow the train is oh no, they just fucking copied this mob over here.
No, we'll get boutique insulin, guaranteed. They'll start charging extra for it's artisanal insulin,
homebrewed insulin. This one has extra hops and
small batch insulin,
moonshine insulin, which is good.
This insulin was made in an oak barrel.
So no, we need to make our own pharmacy company now called Moonshiners Incorporated and start making
I mean, if we want to keep the hate train going on big companies,
always, man.
Zuckerberg's not looking particularly great
Zucky
right
boy.
now.
You can't have a Newsweek without either Elon or Zuckerberg.
Pretty much.
The week you get both in a fuck you post, that's just a good
I'm convinced Bezos is only not doing epic villain level shit because these guys are taking all that away from. It's if I sit here and wait, they'll get destroyed and I can be okay.
There has been a few little things on old Bezos that came out when they first after that first run where they went into the low orbit and they came back down and then they popped a bottle of champagne that was worth more than a majority of their fucking employees' wage for a year, and then just threw the bottle over the shoulder and fucking left it there. It's you fucking pieces of trash. This is how little of a fuck you fucking give. And so that's sort of blowing up on him.
The petty shit NASA did to do with that. That was my favorite.
What'd they do there?
So there's a set of criteria that allows you to qualify as having been an astronaut.
Oh yes, that's right.
They altered them specifically so that Bezos didn't count as being an astronaut for his little space adventure.
That's right. They raised the minimum height you had to be to.
Something like I can't remember what it was, but
one of those
it's like that perfect little bit of fuck you.
If you have any modicum of power in NASA and you don't do that, you shouldn't be at fucking NASA. That requires a certain amount of petty that only a certain amount of power has.
Only a government nerd has that level of petty.
Absolutely.
But that is a government nerd I would high five.
Fuck yeah.
That government nerd has got more street cred than anyone else. They could walk into anywhere where nerds are and say, hey, I'm the one that fucked Bezos over. You'd never pay for another drink in your life.
Oh yeah,
Like
without a doubt.
anything you do, like done. I'm paying his check. He's done.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, off in the distance, Meta is slowly burning. So now we'll never get legs.
That's the big thing that's coming out because they did another big layoff. 13% of their staff, or 11,000 jobs.
Ooh,
At which point, people have, of course, started talking about what's going on there, and basically, pretty much the internal vibe seems to be, yeah, Metaverse is pretty much killing Facebook. It is a giant black hole, and it is not helping.
It was siphoning all money in that direction and just eating it. And getting nothing from it. Like, I don't understand why he's sunk this much money into it. Instead of just buying VR hangout thing, like the one that's already free, like, out there. It's like, buy that tech and then improve on it. Why are you wasting your time building on it?
Billions of dollars, right? Take whatever big enough dump truck of money it took for you to go buy VR chat and just buy it.
Yeah. Like, do that. You have the money for it. Why waste your time and effort building an entirely new engine that is substantially subpar?
Yeah.
And then try and bring it up to a point where it matches this thing that already exists. Like, I don't understand. Because, like, Meta is fucked. You have no legs. You're only a floating torso. You can't choose your avatar. Yeah. They still just look like me's. Meanwhile, you go to VR chat, it's like, you can be what the hell you want. You want to be a tiny version of Knuckles that runs around doing dumb shit? Done! Free!
Want to be Godzilla? Go ham.
Yeah.
But, like, in like, Zuck's whole fucking layoff of 11,000 people, a lot of people did get emails saying that, hey, look, you're no longer employed. And that was about all they fucking got out of it. But quite a few of them, when they went to log in, if they're working remotely from home, they were using software called Blind to verify their account to be able to log in.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they were told to re-verify and then were unable to re-verify, and that's how they found out.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
So they had to re-log into their account, re-verify their details, and once they re-verified their details, their account was locked. And that's how they found out.
That is a major fuck up from HR right there.
Yeah. Well, that's, like, years ago at, I want to say Nike, when they laid off a whole heap of people, they pulled a fire drill. And then once everyone was out in the evacuation, they said, right, we're laying off a whole heap of people. If your key card still works to get you in the door, you can get you're still employed. Otherwise, we'll post your personal effects back to you. Yeah. That's a dick fucking move.
That is a dick move. I only know of one other one, which was unfortunately an Australia-based fuck up. I won't say the company name. But right at the start of COVID, this company decided to do some layoffs because, you know, everyone was doing it. But they chose April Fool's Day.
Oh.
So
no
that's when they sent out
anyone on April Fools at all. That's just a bad. That's
just the
end poorly.
Confusion from all that would have been fucking horrible.
Like waiting for the follow-up email of April Fools is like, I'm not getting an email. Like, am I meant to refresh this or what? And then April 2nd comes.
Refresh your account and suddenly it's locked. Like, oh no.
Yeah. Or April 2nd comes. It's like you email back say, I didn't get like an April Fool's email. Like, what's the fucking story? Like, fuck the confusion that would make. Jesus.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there was multiple instances of this happening around the world. It's like, April Fool's Day, I'm gonna fire people today. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. You don't just need to die in a fire, you need to be slowly lit and just watched burn.
The only time I would accept that was if it was literally the day after payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, like, having the, so you're aware, this is not an April Fool's joke.
Yes.
Like, clarify that, not just send out an email saying, 100%. You're fired on a day that is, you're meant to pull some form of prank.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's a shitty fucking prank.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Like, that is not a prank you fucking do. That's fucking with someone's livelihood. If you pull a prank and both of you can't laugh about it, that's not a prank. That's you being a dick.
That's punching down, and that's not what
that's all it is. If you can't both laugh at a prank, it's not a fucking prank. You're a dick.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, do we want to talk about the biggest dick in news right now?
Absolutely.
Always.
That's quite a nice little segue, because this is quite a dick. This isn't isn't just a dick.
This is a new level of dickery. Like,
100%.
This
so
is chunky,
what we're talking
fuzzy
about,
balls too. Fuck me.
Oh.
What we're talking about is renowned composer Mick Gordon, who did the soundtrack for Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, finally put out a statement based on what happened back in 2020 to do with the Doom Eternal soundtrack. And damn, fuck.
This isn't just a response. This is a response with finger pointing and receipts. Like
this is like, from what I've heard,
evidence of like, I'm not just going to tell you like how fucked it is. I'm going to show.
One of my favorite comments I've seen on this was Mick Gordon didn't just show up with his receipts. He itemized the entire travel expenses in the way that the accountant would drool over so that you get all of your money back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
From what I've heard, because I haven't looked into this directly.
He did that and left a tip. Fuck me.
This is the equivalent of like a tactical nuclear strike, from what I've heard. Just, you know what? Fuck you.
But it's not a slap.
No.
It's literally more him walking out and going, here's what happened. I'm just going to step away now.
Yeah.
It's not him being like, fuck this guy, he's a piece of shit. No, he just says everything that happened and
just
I think that makes it even better.
Alright, walk me through this.
He says at the end of it, in no way is this an attack on anyone. This is solely me defending myself. I've not provided anything aggressive to anyone. It's just responding to everything that's come at me. Which is like,
I will put a link to this in the show notes because it is absolutely something you should read. It is a massive read. It has a fucking table of contents.
Yeah.
It is such a big thing.
Even,
but it is something that everyone
the Reddit post from this Marty is like fairly fucking long, and when you first read it, it's like, holy shit. Like, that's a really dickish thing to do. And then you look at the context of the other bloke, it's like, holy fuck, there's the points, and holy shit. Like,
yeah. So, to start with, there was a whole bunch of shit that went down with the OST for Doom Eternal. The only response we had back when it all went down was from Marty on a Reddit post. And I will freely admit, they did a absolutely stellar stitch-up job.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is a
hatchet job. They pulled out a full assassination here.
There is some stuff in there that is like, if you really pull it apart, you're like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But it hangs together well enough because they'd spent a lot of time creating this sort of auteur air about Mick. You know, he's this special guy. Only he could have made the music, except they hired another guy to do the DLC for the game, so clearly he's not the only one. And like he had the heavy metal choir where he got a whole bunch of well-known metal artists to sing, you know, for some of his tracks. And when the OST came out, he was putting out a lot of angry tweets. So they basically painted all of that to create this persona of a guy who's so full of himself that he didn't care.
Yeah.
And they did it's an excellent smear job.
Yeah. It is,
and that's all we had.
It's a masterpiece of fucking hatchet work. Like, they straight out hatchet job this bloke. Absolutely.
I didn't hate him for it, but it was like, man, that does seem like a bit of a dick move back then.
Like, it was just far-fetched enough and just believable enough to get you riled up to say, fuck, this is just fucked up enough to be true.
So what was the original thing that was wrong with the OST? That was the...
okay, basically, it wasn't done very well. It wasn't mixed properly.
Yeah.
Some of the sounds weren't well, and the original OST was absolute hot garbage.
Yeah.
Something like 50 songs were just trash. And we didn't know why. And it had Mick's name all over it, so it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, basically, over the last 2 years, we find out that Mick's been running an entire thing in the background to try and get this sorted out. So, basically, the way it starts out is essentially working on Doom Eternal soundtrack. I think was contracted for something was 148 minutes of music. He submitted things like demos, which weren't ever supposed to be paid for, to be like, hey, this is the kind of direction I'm going in. He'd submit tracks to be approved, and they'd be like, nope, we're not using that, go make another one. He was working on he had to have 2 levels worth of music done per month. And if they got rejected, they got lumped in with the next month as well. So then he had to get 4 tracks done.
But
this was all before any of the levels were even laid out.
Well, they were still in concept stage.
Yeah, they didn't even have level lengths or what they were going to be. So, you know, he could create this wonderful heavy metal riff and then be like, that's on a fantasy level and that doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah, well, he says in there he wrote an entire track for a level, and then they went through it, and there's several hours of exploration and, like, puzzles and shit in it, and they're going, nah, well, you made this, but now it's trash, so make it again.
Yeah. So they're rejecting tracks that were previously approved. It was a real fucking shit show.
Yeah.
All cottoned off by the fact that they made him wait 11 months to get paid.
Oh, wow, fuck you.
He was supposed to get paid per approved track.
Yeah, but because they never actually approved anything, anytime he made something, they'd already changed the game or made anything different, they just straight rejected everything.
So they just kept moving the goalposts so you could never get paid, essentially.
Here's the kicker, though. They used all of that music.
Yeah.
Oh.
All of the rejected music was in the game.
In the game, in marketing, in advertising, like every single bit of Doom Eternal shit you've seen anywhere that had even a note of music is from his shit that was rejected.
This is the thing. It even included those demo tracks, which were never paid for music. They were just supposed to be concepts to show how the game was gonna sound. You know, ideas that Mick had, he created little demo tracks. Those were used as well.
Jesus.
They were never supposed to be paid for and used.
And who thought this was a good idea? Like,
Old Marty,
basically,
apparently.
They paid him for something, I think it was just over 2 hours of music. There was 5 hours of music that was made by Mick.
fucking hell.
And that's just in just normal development of the game. Then we get to the actual OST itself. Here's where it starts to get fun. Just before the game was about to come out, they announced a delay in the OST.
Yeah.
This was announced at an E3, Mick's name all over it. He was doing the OST.
They announced it at E3, like, in 2019.
Yeah.
They, in the special edition, which was going on sale immediately, they said, Mick, whatever his name is,
Mick Gordon.
Mick Gordon's Doom Eternal soundtrack will be included. You won't just get music from it. You're going to get the original files, like the audio files dream of this whole fucking soundtrack. And
so that got announced back when that came out, and then just before release, we got a message saying this is being delayed. It'll come out later, you'll get your links for it, so on and so forth. We find out that announcement at E3, no one had approached Mick about doing the OST yet. They just put his name on it.
Oh, wow, that's a dick move.
they just said this is going to happen.
Mick then started trying to have a dialogue with id about, like, hey guys, like, I haven't been contracted to do this OST yet. Do you want to get into this and start getting something sorted?
Yeah.
Because you just announced my name on an OST that I'm not contracted to work on. Kept trying to get through to id for that, kept getting stonewalled, eventually went around them to Bethesda, and they got, okay, cool, we'll get you a contract, we'll get you started. And he was contracted for 12 songs, and in a certain time period. This contract went into effect after the delay was announced.
So there'd already been no soundtrack made before they'd fucking said there was going to be a delay on it. And then after they'd already said the delay, it's like, oh yeah, you want to start working on it. Like, holy fuck. How can you screw that over so much?
Like, fuck.
We're not even done.
Oh god, it gets worse.
They'd already sold out of pre-orders by this stage.
Yeah.
For this collector's edition.
I actually have I have the collector's edition on my shelf. I have the Doom helmet and all of the gear that was supposed to come with that OST.
Did you ever get the cassette tape?
Yes.
It did turn up eventually?
Yeah, I got my cassette tape. But this thing is, though, so they give him this time frame, and they're like, it's a little flexible on the end of it, but we really kind of need it by, I think it was like the 19th of April or something like that. And they sent him the work in progress tracks they'd already had for the OST as well, which was done by their sound engineer, Chad. These tracks are basically just the tracks from the game poorly stitched together to make tracks.
And not even downloaded as clear tracks. Like, if you look at the audio file, they're all blown out. They've been recorded separately while the track's being played. They're not... Everything about them is fucking wrong.
They're not crossfaded properly. There's clipping, there's popping. It's terrible.
Jesus.
And then Mick decided to look at the metadata. And you know when these these tracks were started being made 6 months earlier.
Ooh. So they were just going
So
fucking
before they
undercut
originally announced the soundtrack,
yeah,
with his name on it, with never fucking approaching him.
Oh, that is a dick move and a half.
So Mick's working on this soundtrack. He's agreed to get 12 tracks together and put them out to give them to Bethesda. I think it was like 13 days before the deadline. Marty comes in and goes, "Oh yeah, that's a hard deadline. If we go past that by 1 day, we breach consumer rights, and we can get refund requests, and we'll have to pay out everybody without question.
And it'll all be your fault." Like, he's like in an email said, "It's you. You're the reason for this."
What a dick.
Yeah, and we haven't even gotten to the Reddit post yet.
Oh, yeah.
This is all pre any of that, just background shit.
And it's still got a long fucking cliff ahead of it. Like, it's hardly even hit the slope yet.
No, Dick,
we're getting up to 88. We ain't there yet. So that all goes horribly poorly, and of course the OST eventually gets released with all the garbage tracks on it.
And it has 10 of his tracks.
Yeah, 12,
and it has 57 garbage tracks.
Now, they've put Mick's name and Chad's name as working on the tracks.
All of them. Including
so even the ones that only were done by Mick now say that Chad was a co-composer.
No,
and that
fuck you.
Mick's name is on all the shitty tracks as well.
Fuck off.
And in previous Doom games where he's done the OST, they wouldn't let him do like other people that collaborated on the songs. So other people that were fans that could add something to it. No, we can't give other people credit for doing these things. And now they're going through and just throwing credit at this other guy. So
who is this other guy? Is he like related to someone at Bethesda? Because that's the only way I can think this works.
He's one of their sound engineers, apparently. We don't know enough about it, and I'm not going to dig into it.
No.
I'm pretty sure the only reason Mick even uses his name in this whole write-up is because it's out there. If it wasn't, I doubt he would, because the only people at Bethesda and id that he mentions by name are Marty and Chad.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he only mentions Chad because he kind of has to, because it's part of this whole thing. I honestly believe Mick wouldn't have brought him up at all if he didn't have to.
No, he
Maybe
would have
Chad
just said sound
everything.
engineer. Like, if he didn't, like, if there wasn't a particular person that was also involved, it would have just been sound engineer.
Yeah. So now we're at the OST's release, and Mick starts making some kind of, like, he's still kind of being a little tactful about it, but he is making some kind of angry tweets about how this thing's not working, and it's not his fault.
Yeah.
This is when he starts talking to Marty again about this thing's gone all fucking tits up and the poor release and all this kind of stuff. And Marty's basically going, okay. Don't say anything. Don't tweet anything. We'll work on a response together and we'll get out in front of this thing. At which point Mick's going like, okay, cool. We'll do that. We'll wait, and I'll wait for whatever thing we're going to do together. That's when Marty does his open letter on Reddit where he basically throws Mick under the bus.
Yeah. Hangs him out to dry, apparently.
Quite heavily.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where lawyers start getting involved.
Yeah.
Because, like, Reddit is sort of known as, like, it's not an official place. It's, like, every Reddit thing. It's run by fans. It's moderated by fucking fans. But it's also well known for being a place of fucking vitriol. It's not a great place. You can have some really fucked up fan bases there. So not
like,
releasing
Reddit
it
is
on
a salt mine at times.
Oh yeah, it's so he didn't release it on the official fucking forum or anything where it's moderated by id. He specifically released it on a place that is known to like feed fucking anger and for people to go well beyond where they fucking should.
Well, apparently they found out where he was. They were calling him with death threats and threatening his family and all that shit that you immediately hear once trolls get involved and start shitting on someone.
Fucking cockheads.
They went full ham, all that jazz. They started trying to trash current contracts he had. They started contacting employers, being like, "You should ditch this fucking dude." All that kind of shit. They were trying to ruin him. Damn it! I didn't turn my phone off. At which point, Mick starts to lawyer up and be like, we need to sort this out. I haven't been paid for stuff. This is all breaking down. What are we going to do? There's some back and forth, different suggestions. The big thing that Mick is holding on to is you have to take that Reddit post down.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Now, this is the only thing that's a bit wibbly with this whole post is timescaling gets a little lost at this point. I don't know how far out from the release we are when all this lawyer stuff starts happening. So I don't know how old the Reddit post is, but quite seriously, Reddit is the kind of...
The Reddit post is 3 years old at the moment. It was posted May 5th, 2020.
I know it is now, but I don't know when it was at the time when these...
It did get taken down for a very short period, then re-uploaded.
For like 2 days, and then got put back up. He contacted one of the Reddit admins, told him everything that was happening. He took it down, and then 2 days later it was back up, and that admin had blocked him.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder how much money Bethesda rolled up to that dude's bank account to make it go back.
Yeah.
But seriously, this Reddit is a place where information goes away fast.
Yeah.
So this post is probably already pretty dead at this point. Removing it's not really probably even going to get noticed.
Unless someone's specifically searching for it, they're not going to find it again.
Yeah, but again, we're well out from the release and all this kind of stuff. It's probably not a really big it's not a hill to die on that you want to keep this post up.
Yeah.
But they've stated that removing it may damage Marty's credibility.
Fuck Marty.
I know, right? And this is the crux of what Mick wants. He keeps working with them about other things they want, they want him to fix the OST and other stuff. But he wants this one post removed.
Yeah.
Eventually, Bethesda basically gives him a 6-figure number and go, shut up. Never talk about this again.
If anyone asks you, you must answer no comment, but the post's never coming down. Take your money and shut up.
Wow.
They basically tried to bribe him to just not talk.
Yeah. Just take your loss and, let us shit on you for a bit.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Of course, that doesn't work for Mick. He's still working with lawyers, and eventually he gets to the point where it's look, I just need to tell my story, at which point we get the post we have. This actually has, section-by-section rebuttals to most of the stuff from Marty's original post. All the receipts are here, emails, various other points that back up everything he's saying. I would highly recommend you, if you want a much more deep dive on this, read the post. Like I said, I'll put it in the show notes. It's a hell of a read. But really, it basically boils down to id fucked him over, then smeared his name, and tried to bribe him to not speak about it.
There has to be some kind of repercussion for slander or something he can go for, right?
I don't know, man.
Not at this point in time.
The post seems to imply that he's still working with lawyers.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's not sure what's going to happen or if it's ever going to get anywhere useful, hence why he decided to finally speak his piece.
This just reinforces my belief that the AAA game industry has to die. These big companies need to go away.
I don't think it has to die. I think some of the stuff it makes is worth it. They're some places really put out a lot of passion and quality. I mean, I'll still defend to death Doom 2016. It's a fantastic game, and we'd have never got it without the AAA industry.
Yeah.
But there's just some fucking bullshit.
Some
that
people where their own interpreted status has gone so far to their head that they can't be anything but right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that seems to be Marty.
Yeah.
And they'll fuck over whoever they can to think they can get ahead.
Oh, yeah.
We have breezed over the top of this.
Oh,
but
very
you read
much
that
skim.
whole post, and Marty is a giant piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly gaslighting Mick, trying to sound like his friend 1 minute, and then there's one bit where they're when the fans come for us, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
It's what the fuck?
That is fucked up.
Or even just before he posted his Reddit, big fucking vitriol spiel, they have a conversation, they have a chat, they're on the phone talking to each other, and they're now look, we're going to work together. He's being all buddy-buddy of Now, we're going to get our story straight. We're going to work together, and we're going to produce this thing. We're going to make something great. It's like, we're in this together. And then he gets pretty much loses contact until the Reddit post where it's just a dump. It's like, how fucking two-faced can you be? Like, he's literally said, you don't post anything because I'm going to. Like, I need to get my story out there first, all right?
Yeah, but it's just like, no, let me go first and I'll prep the way for you and just dunk on them. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, how does this guy still have a job, to be honest? Like, just the negative press they're getting from this alone should guarantee him disappearing.
How much dick has he had to suck for fucking either Bethesda or id Software's fucking lawyers to come that hard to bat for him? Like,
I mean, for the fact that they were trying to pay him off originally with, like, six-figure sums, like, take your money and fuck off. That means he has to have leverage on someone for him to put that much money into it.
But also to just not remove the Reddit post.
Yeah. Like, a very simple request.
Straight out. Eventually, Mick is basically like, alright, I just pay me what I'm owed, and I'll do another OST for you. He's gonna do more work for this cunt.
Yeah.
Like, no,
all I want
he's
is
just gonna
that post taken
make
down.
the current OST better. Gonna fix it as it should have been when it first came out.
I will fix your fuck up.
You just have to remove the Reddit posts. And no. Holy...
It's such a weird hill to die on.
Yeah, like, why would you do that? It's fucking stupid. But, people are idiots.
Yeah. That was the Doom Eternal drama that happened this week.
I highly recommend anyone that has any sort of remote interest on how fucked, like, this can be. Like, it all boils down to just pay your artist. Pay your creative. They fucking deserve it. They've done the work. Fucking pay them. Anyone who has any interest in this, read it. Please, just read it. I read it just before we recorded this, and it's not a roller coaster. It's no up, there's no down. It's a free dive off a fucking cliff into jagged rocks all the way down. It's like, holy fuck, how can this get worse?
I was watching Jodo as he was reading it, and just watching his face morph. Like, at the start, he's like, kind of calm, he's reading it, but just as it gets deeper and deeper, and watching him just, like, sink into his own hands, it's like, it gets intense.
This is the industry that we all studied to be in, and...
I know.
It's toxic as
bullet
hell.
dodged.
I'm usually a fairly calm person, but by the end of this, I was angry. Like, I don't get angry easily, and I was fucking angry by the end of this. Like, how can you be such a shit fucking person? Like, after this comes out, how do you, one, still have a fucking job, and how will anyone ever want to work for you again? Like,
that should be a career.
You could make the next Doom game, no one will do music for that. Like, doesn't matter who the fuck they are, you could probably get your own fucking sound design bloke to do it, and
we've already seen how well that goes.
Oh, fucking oath. Like, even their own sound design blokes are probably going to go, oh, no, you do it.
Well, this is the thing I'm most interested in, because Mick didn't do the music for the DLC.
Yeah.
Another artist called Andrew Holsholt did. You might know him if you've ever played Dusk, a medieval, Iron Fury. Basically, he does music for boomer shooters.
Yeah.
And he can do a lot of the same sort of music as Mick. They hired him to do the music for the DLC. I am super curious if we're ever going to hear anything from Holsholt on his time working for Bethesda.
He probably had a fucking NDA, like, as first line of his fucking contract.
Probably. Yeah.
But
it's
like,
probably, like, it's probably a massively thick contract.
Straight out.
98% is NDA.
Yeah.
But he did all of that before this side of the story came out.
100%.
So, from this point, like, I'm very curious to see a response from id Software, or, like, Marty's response to this.
They're going to have to say something.
If they don't ditch this guy out as even just precautions, like, no, man, like, having you around is not worth this.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Take whatever money you have and just leave. Just, no.
Because, like, this is a very fucking detailed response to every fucking point of it. And there has to be some fucking, like, response. There's no way in hell anything can happen without it. So either Marty's going to get fucked off, or id Software is going to come out and say, we back Marty, at which point id Software is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where this has been happening.
Two sides of the coin.
Yeah. This has been happening in the industry since before we were studying to be in this industry. It's just now there's actual light being shone on it, and the shady things that used to happen. Hell, we can go into detail in some future episode of just the shady shit we experienced in our fleeting time in that industry, and how fucked it was.
Yeah.
It's like the constant golding, all that kind of stuff, where it's just, no, you live at the office, you don't get to see your family. It's like, it's messed up.
Yeah, it really fucking is.
But yeah.
Anyway,
anyone that has your remote interest, please read these articles. Like,
yeah.
You want to get angry. You want to get angry and fired up before you do something? Read this article. Do it. It'll fucking get you there. It fucking got me there. I had to calm down before we fucking started this. I made myself a fresh rum just to calm down for it.
Editor Seth here. Just jumping in to point out that this episode was recorded before Bethesda put their statement out, at which point they backed Marty and Chad, and also stated that they have their own receipts that prove their point, and essentially accused Mick of lying or false or misrepresenting information and facts within his large write-up. Unfortunately, they didn't actually present any of these facts, hence why this is just an editor's note, but we will definitely be keeping an eye on this topic as it goes, and if we get anything interesting, we'll be sure to update you. Otherwise, back to the podcast. So we'll move on to it's book week.
Yay!
We get to talk about last month's book and what we're going to read next month. So last month I got to pick the book for the spoopy season, and I picked the book Haunted.
It was suitably spoopy.
And I wanted to throw out something a little bit different for Halloween, not just, some fucking Amityville horror crap. Let's throw in something that's a bit more twisted and weird.
Oh yeah, it was.
And I think I succeeded.
I enjoyed it. It was messed up, like that first story with the pool. I know you mentioned one of them was like that turned you off eating whilst reading the book.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was the first one out the fucking gate.
I know. Oh. Yeah, and you guessed correctly that the pool one is the one where I was at a Macca's and I stopped eating.
Yeah.
So, like, that first story reminds me very much of like the horror stories you tell around a campfire, or you're all sitting in a spa late at night and you're sneaking a few beers with some mates and you tell a ghost story. That's exactly what that first fucking story reminds me of, because it's like the old urban horror story of like, oh my god, I knew a guy where this happened to, and then you go into the shitty thing that happened. That's very much what it reminded me of.
Oh yeah.
But like the people that, like, the characters that are involved, like, you never get a name from them. They've all got their own little moniker of
their own
who they are, and like, you see how it relates to the people and their personalities and everything, and how they almost need to degrade themselves so they're the bigger fucking victim, and every step of the way through is this, poor me, I need to be rescued, so people will like worship me for being.
The baseline of this overarching story is the whole writer's retreat, so they have to go off for 3 months and write their masterpiece. And at no point do they ever sit down and write their fucking book. They don't even start. They immediately devolve into, I'm gonna fuck everyone else over, and when we get out of this, I'll be a celebrity.
Harder for everyone else and myself, so it'll be harder by the end of it. So people will worship me more.
Yeah. And it's very messed up.
They base it all off of the idea that they really quickly decide that misery creates better stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I must be the most miserable to make the best story.
Yeah.
And
it's so bizarre. Like, it is a descent into a weird kind of madness.
It really is. Like I did enjoy it.
It almost falls into fucking Lord of the Flies territory, where it's it's everyone together, but every man for himself. Like, it's not just you're weak. It's like, you're weak and I'm literally going to eat you.
Yeah.
Of course, that would make a better story for the end of it.
There is a section where they do start eating someone.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre because the person like gets hungry smelling their own flesh being cooked.
Yeah. It's so
bizarre.
fucked up.
And like, they have to continually change who the bigger villain is because, oh no, we killed that villain. Oh, we need a bigger villain. No, we need
a new villain. Yeah.
Like, now it's this person. And, oh, they made us do all these degraded things. I'm going to pick out my fingernails and say that they made me do that.
And even talking to them, like, one point they're
Yeah.
talking to one of the people who's running the retreat kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know. Like, hey, who did this to them? It's like, you did. Like, no, I fucking didn't. It's like,
You did this to me.
You did this.
Like, while they've got a knife picking out a fingernail,
Yeah.
like, you're doing this to me. And like,
It was
well,
the weird
I'm not,
thing,
but
I enjoyed the overarching story. Like, that was fucked up and weird and great. Some of the short stories were interesting right until the end, where I felt like I was being blue-balled for an ending. Like,
that's fair.
The one that sticks to me the most is there's a guy who wants to be an amazing reporter. So he finds this old child actor who's living a wonderful life. He's a veterinarian.
that one
now.
made
He's
me
doing
cranky
great.
as well.
That one, it gets to the end, and the entire way through, he's planning to just destroy this guy's life. Essentially planning kiddie porn on him, drugs, faking it as a suicide, and basically writing the story ahead of time and then murdering this person to suit it. And the annoying thing is, the only comeuppance is his dog dies, because the vet no longer can save him. I would have much rather an ending where he's sitting down giving an interview to a fledgling author or someone else, and then starts to feel sick and starts to drift off.
The exact
and
same thing he did he starts feeling it himself.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
would
very
be
much the
comeuppance.
same thing. It's like, your dog died. That's not comeuppance. That's shit. I'm sad my dog died. Like, that's not a fucking equivalent.
Yeah,
Like, the reader didn't have enough. Like, it's any movie, TV show, anything you watch. It's a general rule. You don't kill the dog.
yeah,
Like, people always say, but no one, like, it's, in our case, you were listening to it, or you would have been reading it on a page, and it's only mentioned at the start a few times. Like, no one really gives a fuck about this dog. And then you do all this shit, and you start to care less and less about what this guy cares for. You don't give a fuck about his dog by the end of it. Oh, the dog died. And, like, the dog died tearing your fucking throat out, hopefully. Like,
Unfortunately, when you're dealing with these sort of anthology books, not everything's going to land.
no, absolutely.
Right up to that end point, it was a really good story. Like,
Although, that's why I picked this one in particular, because I knew the overarching story would stitch enough together that when you hit like the stories I knew weren't as strong, you wouldn't be as too bothered to be like, oh, I'm going to continue the story, because once this is over, we're back to that. Where is the weirdness gone now in the meta-narrative?
By the end of that story, and like hearing the continuation of that person's story, like that story gave me just enough anger. Like, I wanted more resolution, and then like what happens to the characters following that, it was like, oh, fuck you too, and then something happens to them. Like, that's what gave me a little bit of release. That story was a blue ball, but I got the fuck you, like a few, maybe a chapter later, I think it was, or somewhere. Like, but
I still think the best thing that sets off the kind of mind space the characters end up in is the thing when, I can't remember what, they're harvesting a fruit, I think it was.
Peach trees.
Peach trees.
Yeah.
They're harvesting the peach trees, and I'm like, what the fuck? There are no peach trees in this. It's them pulling the light bulbs out.
They only mention it very briefly at a few chapters beforehand, and the only reason I knew it was coming is because you'd mentioned it previously. Had you not mentioned that, I would be sitting there going, what the fuck are these peaches for?
Yeah.
But,
and they mention like hot, sweet peaches, and they're like trying to like make the place darker and harder for themselves by taking the fucking still lit fucking light bulbs out. It's like, it took me a second to go, oh, no, fuck, they're inside. What are they? Oh, you silly cunts.
And then there's the thing, like, the guy who's like, he has a daily routine of going around and quietly knocking on the doors and whispering for help, so he can claim he was like yelling and trying to get them rescued.
To escape, but he's really just knock, knock, knock. Hello, is anyone there?
Yeah.
I tried.
And they keep breaking the furnace or like washing machines. It's like, what is this?
So it'd be cold, and then they don't have clean clothes.
But like, some of the stories were like, to me, fucking funny. Like there was like the Feng Shui assassin.
The Feng Shui murders.
Oh, the fact, yes.
I'd watch that as a movie. Like,
that'd be great.
Damn, that'd be funny as fuck.
That it is such a Final Destination plotline.
Yeah,
oh, it is. And yeah, I'd like a whole book based on that. That would just be fucking like just weird enough to go, what the fuck is going on? You turned a lamp and everyone died. Shit.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where
he gave him a foot rub and they had a heart attack.
Yeah, and just the whole thing, or you're not meant to like these characters, or most of them.
No.
And you're meant to hate them, and then you just feel sorry for them. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Like the story with the police dolls. That
Yeah.
one made me angry because that's
That
close
one
enough to
actually
being
pissed
fucking
me off.
like. That one's close enough to being like. You can almost see that happening with some fucked up people in this world.
Yeah.
And by the end of that, you're like, fuck you.
I'm not gonna lie. I had to
fucking
skip
thing.
through a couple of those. Like at certain points, like, I have to skip through this.
That's fair.
Like,
Yeah, you get towards the end of that, and it's like they're going through this whole thing, and like, sure, they're dolls, they're like nothing but plastic, but they're people. Like you look at them, and they're fucking people. Like,
because they're meant to be like the hyper realistic looking kind of thing. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is why, like, I personally love reading horror fiction.
Yeah.
Because every now and then you'll find something that, like, absolutely you're like, no, too far.
Like, you
And
find
I
a
find
visceral reaction to something.
It's weird the things that do it, because sometimes, like, again, that first one with the pool, particularly the description when it all goes down, like, that is so, like, my brain is filling it all in.
Yeah,
But,
no,
like,
I had to,
that
like,
first
skip
one,
portions
I
of that
remember
as well.
as a kid, like, sitting in a pool at my grandmother's place out on the farm, and, like, it's midnight, and I've got cousins around me, and we've all fucking snuck a six-pack, like, we're 14 to 16, we've snuck a couple of six-packs out of the cool room, we're sneaky out there having a beer, and you tell a stupid story, and that's, like, that's the type of story you tell. They're like sitting around there with your mates, it's huddled around in the dark, and you're sneaking a beer. That's what that first story felt like. Like they went into a lot more detail and graphic with it for everything that happens, but that's the style of the story. Yeah.
This is the thing that's very interesting. I find that the story that, like, my brain goes, you have other ones. You guys had ones that you skipped.
Yeah.
I've listened to the whole thing. But that's the one that I remember is the one that I'm like, that one made me feel wrong.
Yeah. I listened to the whole
it's
thing,
so interesting.
but I had a different reaction for each one. Some were like, I should really skip those, but no, I'm going to listen to the fucking thing because I'm fucking cringing at this, and I just want to get to an end where there's a fucking over and I can move away from this cringy shit.
Yeah.
So, and like...
But I mean, that's what these anthologies do. Good ones.
Yeah.
Good anthologies have a lot of stories, some of which you'll whatever. Other ones will be like, I don't feel okay, and other ones will be like, I'm really not okay right now.
But
And that's what you want from horror, like, writing. Like,
even in this anthology, sometimes you get an anthology and it's literally just, here's story 1, here's story 2, here's story 3, here's story 4. Whereas this is an overarching story, and each of the characters has their own story in it, where it tells a little bit about that person and why they're there, and then it goes into the story that they're telling, and like it gives you a bit of the set piece of why they're on the stage telling this story. And I think that carried a lot more with it than it's just like, okay, here's the third story,
100%
written by, voiced by, and
100%.
And
it was very well done that way.
So yeah,
are we going to discuss? Are we going to discuss the end of this book? Because
The ending is
spoil it for anyone.
Sure. Look, like, I mean, we're in the spoiler section.
Yeah.
We're talking about the book.
So if you don't want to know the ending, end the session here, guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or skip ahead like 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll be on to the book for next month.
Yeah. So like getting towards the end of this book, like from the start, he said, after this fucking time, I will open the door and you are free to leave.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows you're here. You are fucking locked off from the world. Nobody's coming. At the end of the time, I will open the door.
I believe they were in there for 3 months.
3 months. Like, they had to walk away from everything in their life for 3 fucking months, and then they're free to go. They can just leave.
Yeah.
So, so they go through this whole fucking thing, making their own life harder, going, people are going to come and rescue us. No one knows you're there. Like, you've disappeared for 3 fucking months. Like, one of the characters has a story about someone else who's gone on this writer's retreat, who went missing for that time, and no one knew where they were. Like, there was an FBI search, there was police out, and no one knew where they were. You're on
And it
this
was the
retreat.
same place, too. They mentioned numerous times that there are stains around the place that have arm imprints and things, so other people have died in this fucking sin.
No one was coming, but they're like so ingrained in this thought that someone is coming for me. I'm going to be a hero for fucking surviving this. That they get to the end of it, And he's there, all right, well, your 3 months is up. Door's open. You can leave. No.
And then,
no,
the guy tries to leave with one of them, and she's keen to go, and they drag her back in.
Yeah.
They harpoon her and drag her back in.
Yeah. They need to be more of a victim and rescued so that they can tell their great story of the struggle they've just been through.
And the entire time
than what they could have done in that time. They needed to be seen as something else because they weren't enough themselves. It's fucking grow up and
that
look
last
at
bit
yourself.
is so creepy because, the harpoon comes out of the darkness.
Yeah.
Gets her, they drag her back in, and then drag the door closed again.
Yeah.
Because they
It's
need
such a
to lock
visceral
themselves in
ending.
that space. They can't just accept that, we're the monsters. We've done all this to ourselves. We can't just walk out into that world now and be who we were before because we're not those fucking people anymore. Yeah. We are the fucking scary thing in the dark.
Because they've chopped off fingers,
we can't walk out. Yeah.
They've destroyed everything about
fucking
themselves.
horrible things,
carved off their noses and shit.
One of them, they're fucking pregnant. They fucking straight up kill her. They do a whole heap of horrible shit in the thought that I'm going to be the victim and people are going to want to listen to my story. How can we frame this so that I'm worse off than anyone else in here? And then just I'm free to go. No. That's not how this story ends. I need this ending over here, not that ending.
And there's something going, it's just a little bit longer. We have to stay here a little bit longer. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
and it's they're out of food. They have nothing left. It's what is wrong with you?
They're eating each other. There is no happy
That's
ending for you. You
that...
have fucked your own ending.
That's what makes that ending so good. Just the fact that they crawl back into the darkness and seal themselves away, knowing that they have nothing.
Yeah,
they want to revel in their misery.
Remind me a little bit of the ending of The Mist. There isn't a happy ending there. These people have fucked themselves over. The main guy in The Mist, he goes through and tries his hardest, and then in the last few seconds, he has to make a really bad fucking decision. And he goes through it, and then the instant repercussion of that is oh my
I always love
God,
that ending.
That's my favorite ending
Although,
of any
isn't that the one from that's the one from the movie? I don't think that's
the original movie.
No. After the movie came out, the bloke who wrote the ending for the movie was contacted by, I think Stephen King wrote the original book.
Yeah.
Was contacted by Stephen King and said, that's the ending I wanted to write, but the publisher wouldn't let me. That's how I wanted something like that to end it, but I couldn't. And then they made the movie with that ending. It's yes, that's what I wanted.
It's a really
whole,
one.
you've done all this. Now suffer the fucking consequences.
Even better is that came about from spite. Because they had a bunch of screenings for it, and the audience that ending's very sad. It's you want a fucking sad ending? I'll show you a fucking sad ending. And ran off and made the new one.
But,
Anyway, before we derail onto other stuff...
I just want to say, this book doesn't have a happy ending, but it does have an ending where you can look at the characters and say, you're no longer a person, you're no longer a human, you need to be in that fucking dark, because what you need to come out of it doesn't exist. It's never coming.
Yeah.
And that ending was holy fuck.
It made me unsettled, and that's what you want from a horror.
I'm not really a horror person. I really got that far into it, but this book, I'd read more stuff that was along this sort of vein. I did enjoy this.
Well, I've got them if you want to read more of them.
I've
read a lot of horror fiction, and I've read particularly a lot of anthologies.
I've read this. I probably wouldn't read this again for quite a while till I look through my collection and go, what's this book? And then listen to it and goes, oh, it was that book. And then not read it again for a long fucking time until I forget it again. And then...
You'll have someone look through your Audible library and go, hey, John Doe, what's this? Haunted? And, then you get this haunted look on your face.
Give it a listen.
Listen to it. And then you tell me what it's about. It's I listened to that book. It's well... Tell me.
How'd you like it?
Was the baby good for you?
So, John Doe, you've got next month's book.
I have. I've got next month's book. So what do we got? So, again, a step in a different direction. We've done so many lit RPGs and various other stuff. And the last time I chose a book was Catch-22, and that was interesting. So, before this, I listened to a lot of military sci-fi. So we build spaceships, we go into space, we big fucking space battles, we shoot shit. Yay! Blowing shit up. So I've picked Columbus Day in the Expeditionary Force series. It's the first book. Craig Allinson's the writer, and R.C. Bray, who is a fucking awesome narrator. I've listened to quite a few books he's done, and I like him. He also usually has a fuck-up track at the end of it where you can listen to how he's mispronounced shit, and it's quite entertaining.
Nice. So, like, what's the baseline of this one?
So, I'll read the fucking blurb. We're fighting on the wrong side of a war we couldn't win, and that was the good news. The Ruha, they're one of the alien species, hit us on Columbus Day. There we were, endlessly drifting along the cosmos in our own little blue marble, like the Native Americans in 1492. Over the horizon comes a ship of a technology-advanced, aggressive culture, and bam, there go the good old days, when humans only got killed by each other. So Columbus Day, it fits. When the morning sky twinkled again, this time with Christine starships jumping into Hammer the Ruha, we thought we were saved. The UN Expeditionary Force, or X-Force as they are in the book, hitched a ride on the Christine ships to fight the Ruha, wherever our new allies thought we would be most useful. So I went fighting with the good old US Army, to fighting in Nigeria to fighting in space. It was lies, all of it. We shouldn't have been fighting the Ruha. They weren't our enemy. They were our allies. We'd better start at the beginning. And then the book kicks off. And I've listened to it. I picked this book the other day, and then I listened to it because it's like, I'm going to do this, and I might as well get a head start. And it's a certain kind of story for a certain point, and then things change, and it's a very different kind of story, and I enjoy it. So I don't want to ruin any of that for you.
That sounds fun.
But that's our book for this month. It is a whole series. I think there's like 15 books in the series, so if you get hooked, you got something to sink your fucking teeth into. Yeah.
Yes. What is it with you and picking books that have big series?
Because I want to listen to shit.
Yeah. And after this one, I get to choose the Christmas book.
Oh,
yeah,
Merry fucking Christmas.
Book.
But yeah, so that's where we're at. It's on Audible. You can buy it with a credit, though it's also included in the Audible Plus
membership.
Yeah. So I already had this in my wish list, and I seen the included little mark on it. It's like, oh, there we go.
Nice.
So that's where we're at.
I'm looking forward to this. I mean, flicking through some of the reviews, pretty much the only thing, the most negative thing anyone seems to have to say about this is that it's really America.
It's shooting aliens in space. Like, that's every fucking alien movie out there. Fucking America. I got a bigger gun. Brr.
Your gun goes pew pew. Mine goes brr.
Yeah.
More darker.
That orc fucking singing the Christmas carols. Fucking love it.
Yeah,
that's very dark.
Games Workshop put out a Christmas track using the orcs, so
we'll have to add that.
Yeah, if you can find it, listen to it, love it. If you're into that kind of thing.
Well, we are well past that an hour now.
I think we deserve that after all the bitching we've done tonight.
I know, right? All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Yep.
Light up.
See ya.